So I am reaching out to the world today, and I think it was so necessary, this movement and what's really about to happen. So I just want some of your energy right now. Yeah, I see Jillian, you're on an iPhone. Are you trying to speak or are you trying to type in? Are you trying to speak? I can't hear you, but you can type in on the chat if you have to. Let me know where you are. Awesome, 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 awesome. I mean, I am so ecstatic because you guys are joining today. And I know that people are looking at us from all over the world right now. And I really just want to come up here today and really just start talking to our people. I think this is it's a major move that's really happening right now. It's a major move that's really happening right now. And you guys should be excited. Just be excited for yourself. Be excited for yourself. Give yourself a pat in the back today because you've made it. Give yourself a pat in the back. I want everybody to give themselves a pat in the back because what we want to do, we want to shake it off a little bit, right? We've been going through a day of stress, of longevity, of whatever that you had to deal with during your early portion of the day until this particular moment. So I want you guys to pat yourself in the back and just kind of shrug it off a little bit, shrug it off and wear off that little bit of baggage that you were carrying earlier, because today we really want to welcome Mr. Boston Leadership Summit. Okay, we really want to welcome Mr. Boston's Leadership Summit. Now, I know a lot of you when you hear summit, a lot of times when people hear summit, they're like, okay, summit, but what exactly is he talking about? What exactly is he talking about? So we're gonna go about this totally different. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear summit, and for most of you, if you've ever been on any type of calls with myself or any other leaders, you know that when we're on these calls, there's always information that you may want to be able to document or take during the call, right? But when we talk about summit, what is the summit? What is a summit? What when you hear the word summit, what does the summit represent? Okay, what does the summit represent? Now, here's the thing. What I want to talk about today, and when we talk about a summit is the highest point of a mountain, right? See, the summit is the highest point of a mountain. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. An example is someone had to climb to this highest point. I want y'all to hold on to that, right? Someone had to climb to this highest point. Now, there's other meanings to a summit, right? There's other meanings to a summit. A meeting between heads of government. When people hear summit, some of you might have said, well, isn't it like a meeting between heads of government? What does a summit mean? Well, see, I am talking, ladies and gentlemen, right? I'm talking about the top, the apex, especially with the highest point, the peak. What are we talking about when we say the top, the apex, the highest point, the peak? I'm talking about the highest point of life, the highest point of achievement, the highest point that you believe that you have gotten to, or maybe you are trying to achieve. So I want you guys to hold on to that, right? The highest point. Maybe you have gotten there, okay? Or maybe you're trying to achieve. So the thing is when you hear summit, I'm not talking about a government group of individuals from governments getting together. I am talking about the peak, your highest point. See, now some of us has gotten to the highest point that we could have achieved, but now we're stuck. Some of us has gotten to a highest point in our life, and now we are stuck because we believe that we cannot get beyond that highest point. We believe that we cannot get beyond that highest point. Now, you have to remember, you have gotten to this point in some way, shape, or form. You have gotten to this point, this top, in some way, shape, or form. Now, some of us have gotten to places and we don't even understand how we got there. See, some of us have gotten to places and we don't even understand how we have arrived to that point. This is why moving forward, as we start this summit, I want everyone to start documenting. I want you to start documenting your journey from here on out, documenting your steps from here on out. Start taking notes, docking the time that it takes in every movement you make. Now, some of you may find that, well, okay, is this a bit tedious for me? I really can't do this. I can't get to do that. It's almost impossible for me to do that. And it's not. Because that word impossible, you guys have already known, you break it up into possible steps, right? So here's the thing. You want to document. Why do we want to document? Why do we want to document? See, you don't want to get to a point that you believe you have arrived and you do not know how you've gotten there. You do not have a blueprint to be able to show someone. You do not have a blueprint to be able to go over that blueprint and see where you have made the mistakes and how you can better achieve another journey without those same mistakes being made. Are you guys with me? If you're with me, I need you guys to get familiar with the Zoom or whatever platform you're on. Go ahead and type 1 in the chat box. And for those on other platforms, just say with me. Type with me in there. If you're with me, type with me. Because I want to make sure that you all are with me. You must document your journey. So when we start talking about a summit, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the highest point. We're talking about the peak. Okay? And during this summit, during this period, during what we have started, you guys are going to experience some phenomenal things. You guys are going to experience some phenomenal people that will come along this journey to be able to participate, okay, within this summit. There's going to be people that's going to participate within this summit that will be able to pour into all those who are attending this summit. Okay. So when I speak of the summit, I am talking about the apex. I'm talking about the top. I'm talking about the level you have achieved, right? The highest level that you can achieve. So my purpose, ladies and gentlemen, my purpose for this summit is for us to come together strategically, to have strategic conversations. Strategic conversations. That's what I want us to do. Strategic conversations that brings up different perspective, okay? Different perspective within our system, our society. That is my reason for this summit, okay? And where we can literally, guys, talk about the big picture or the big questions. The big picture or the big questions. Because see, here is the thing. There is always a beginning and there's always an end. There is always a beginning and there is always an end. There is always a destination. But you have to understand the way to the destination may be different for some. The way to the destination may be different for some. So what we need is for everyone that is going to take the journey, because when life begins, the journey starts. When life begins, the journey starts. So what happens is that when you become cognizant of your senses and you start obtaining the knowledge, you need to start documenting. You need to start documenting, because once you start documenting, then the blueprint will be so much easier for you to understand where you're going. So that's why we want to talk about a few things today, okay? I want to really talk to you guys about a few things today, and I want to talk about renewing the mind as we go into the summit. Renewing the mind. We're talking about destination and we're talking about documentation and making sure that you develop a blueprint. And we want to renew the mind. We want to talk about renewing the mind. What do we mean when we start talking about renewing the mind? What do we mean? Now, I would get some participation from some of you guys. I want you guys to type it in the chat box. When you hear renewing the mind, what comes to mind for you? Type it in the chat. Okay? When you hear renewing the mind, what comes to mind for you? What comes to mind? Type in the chat. I want you guys to, I want that participation. What comes to mind when you hear renewing the mind? Okay? When you hear renewing the mind, what comes to mind for most of you? Okay? What comes to mind? Okay, I see someone said mind shift. Okay? Is there anyone else that anything comes to mind when you start hearing renewing the mind? Okay? What comes to mind when you hear renewing the mind? It's really something that a lot of times we do not think about. We do not think about, but we want to renew the mind, okay? And you got to understand this. Understand this, guys. Understand when we talk about renewing the mind. You're an expression of the workings of your mind. You are an expression of the workings of your mind. Your personality, the way you act, the things you do, it's all from the inner workings of your mind. It's all from the inner workings of your mind. That's why the statement is so true, ladies and gentlemen. The statement is so true when it says you become what you think about. That's why it says you become what you think about. So I want you to hold on to that for a second as we speak on this, because how many times things have happened in your journey, in your life, and if you haven't documented, you have no idea how to track that which was happening to know if it's something that you continuously do over and repeatedly. This is precisely why, ladies and gentlemen, I am saying to you that that's why it's so true when it says you become what you think about. And this is key for us to hold on to. So what are some things that would allow that? What are some things that can make that happen? What are some things that we should do? Now, 3 things, guys, as we're speaking on this, is one of the things is attitude. Attitude. Okay? There is attitude. The second thing is your mentality. And the third is mindset. Attitude, mentality, and mindset. Are you guys with me? What am I saying? If you'd like to be an impactful personality, you have to develop certain types of thinking. Okay? If you want to be an impactful personality. Now, some of you may say to yourself, okay, well, I don't need to have an impactful personality. Well, I want you to think about that for a second. In every area of our lives, in whatever jobs that we're doing, we have to have an impactful personality. Even if you are the guy who runs a janitor business in an organization, you have to have an impactful personality. See, you cannot acquire the position if your personality is not impactful. Your personality doesn't have to be just in the physical attribute of your presence, but your personality will show on your resume. See, I might have lost some of you. See, your personality doesn't have to just be that in person, but your personality will show on your resume. Because what you have done during the journey to acquire the education, the knowledge, that was documented. That now is what's placed on your resume. Now, when I'm saying document your life, I'm telling you to take it to another level. I'm telling you to take it to another level so that when you are connecting in the world, within this system, in order to be an impactful personality, okay, that is exactly what I'm saying. You have to develop certain types of thinking. What are you thinking about? Your perceptions, listen to this. Your perceptions changes the way you're going to see yourself and see the world. Your perceptions changes the way you're going to see yourself and see the world. So if your perceptions are things are not good enough, I am always on the short end of the stick. Things are never going well for me. I cannot be like her. It is rough for me. Everything I attempt to do, it seems as if it started to work, but then suddenly things change. It is your perception of what you feel and see will allow you to be in the space that you're in, and then you will see the world that way. You will see the world that way. So today we want to shift that perception, okay? We want to shift that thought process, because you got to understand how serious it is when we start talking about your perception and how you see the world. Your perception and how you see the world. You have to start thinking, what am I allowing in my space? What am I allowing in my ear gate that can change things for me? What am I allowing, or what am I looking at through my eye gate that will change things for me? What environment am I in that I'm smelling the wrong thing? I'm speaking to the wrong individuals that will change my perceptions. I want you to understand. I want you to think about that for a second, because we're talking about attitude. We're talking about how you must change those things, how you must be able to switch your attitude. See, your attitude, ladies and gentlemen, must be right. Your attitude must be right. I want you guys to hold on to that. Your attitude must be right. And we must couple it with a few things. Your attitude must be right, but you must couple it with a few things. See, there's a thing about attitude, that we must have the right attitude, but we also need the right attributes, right? You got attitude, you got to fix the attitude. You have to shift your attitude. You have to change your attitude, but we also want to couple it with your attributes. We also want to couple it with your attributes, right? And then when we couple it with your attributes, we want to develop the aptitude. We want to develop the aptitude, ladies and gentlemen. When you couple it with your attributes, you develop the aptitude, because when you develop the right aptitude, you're able to soar to the right altitude. If you guys are with me, go ahead and put 10 in the chat. For those who are with me, just go ahead and type with me again. If you are with me, put 10 in the chat. Go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're with me on the other platforms, just go right ahead and type I am with you, okay? Go ahead and type I am with you. I want to make sure that you guys are with me on this journey, because from today moving forward, we want to document everything that we do moving forward in this summit, okay? So your attitude must be right. Your attributes, ladies and gentlemen, which means the gifts you were born with. If some of you were a bit lost, your attribute is the gifts you were born with. So when we're documenting this journey, we want to document, what gifts do you believe that you have? What gifts? Renewing the mind. Renewing the mind. Renewing the mind. That's where we are. We're renewing the mind. Okay? You have the attitude, you must have the right attitude, but then your attributes, it means the gifts you were born with. What gifts were you born with? You want to document. What do you know of yourself? Do you spend enough time with self to know what gifts you were blessed with? And the ones you believe you do not have or aren't blessed with, write it down. Because sometimes others see what you don't see in yourself. Because remember, your perceptions is what allow you to see the way things are with you and see the world. So you want to write down the gifts that you believe that you have and the ones that you think you do not have. You want to write it down as well. You want to write it down. That's where we're talking about your attributes. Now, the aptitude, ladies and gentlemen, your aptitude, this is the journey. This is the journey that from a child, right, that you're going to school to elevate with the education, which is information that would be coming into you, right? So your aptitude is educate, right? Educate and to train those gifts. Your aptitude is to educate and to train those gifts. Your aptitude, educate and to train those gifts. See, along the way, you've gone to school for all these years, but now people believe I'm done with schooling. The real schooling starts after. See, if you went in for a specialty skills, you're going to go after. Somebody type after for me. Type after in the chat. Type after in the chat for me. Type after. Because I need everybody to be with me. Type after in the chat. I want you to type after, because see, the real schooling starts after, whether it's a specialty skills or whether you're elevating as an entrepreneur, whether you're elevating to become a philanthropist, whether you're elevating to soar in the world of business building, in creating solutions, in being a leader, it starts after. Woo! Isn't that amazing? Most of us never thought about it that way. We may shun on, oh, that those are entrepreneurs over there. They doing that thing, whatever that thing is. See, no, they always reading some book and chanting some type of words, and they're always saying you are going to be your highest level of self and such and such. That's after, ladies and gentlemen. Because here's what you didn't think about. You're going to become a doctor. Schooling was done under 4 year. Now you're doing after. See, there's after work. Because med school and internship and residency, and that's after work. Can somebody type after again? After again. I want to make sure you guys are with me. After again. Because I need to make sure you're understanding me. This is the after work. So the aptitude is to educate, right? And train those gifts. Because see, when you educate and train the gift, then there's your altitude. Your altitude, here's the thing, change the level of association you're in. Woo! This is what I'm talking about. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. Your altitude, I'm talking about you have to change the level of association that you are in. Because see, you cannot be running and playing in the dirt as a youngster. And as you grow up, you still want to play in the dirt. As you get more educated, you still want to play in the dirt. As you level up, you still want to play in the dirt. Have you become a doctor, you still want to play in the dirt. Have you become a technician, you still want to play in the dirt. You became a pharmacist, you still want to play in the dirt. You become an IT professional, you still want to play in the dirt. Somebody tell me in the chat, what happens if you become that high-level professional and you still want to play in the dirt like you were still a child? What happens? What happens? What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? I want you guys to think about it. I want you guys to participate to me. What do you think will happen? You want to play in the dirt, but now you're on a different level. See, your altitude will determine the way of life. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Change your level of association. Okay? Change your level of association, because when you now change your attitude and start seeing the world differently, when you change your attitude, when you look at it and said, well, wow, my attitude has changed, and now my attribute has been something I've realized, which allowed me to develop the aptitude. So now you have to shift your altitude, because now you're not in the same lane. You're in a different lane. See, you're renewing the mind. You are renewing the mind. Now, I need you guys, I went back, I said, as a man think it. As a man think it. See, most of us, some of us are biblical believers on here, or whether you're reading any structure of the book, or whether you're just living upright. But according to the book, according to the good book, right? According to the word that I study, Proverbs 23:7, it says, the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So when we start talking about, that's why the statement, as a man thinketh, you got to understand, how are you thinking? You want to renew your mind. You want to take it to another level. You want to be able to elevate. Now I need you to understand. I talked about a summit. This is a leadership summit. And I said, my purpose for the summit, ladies and gentlemen, my purpose for the summit, I said, is for us to have strategic conversations and bring up different perspective within the system or society. So here's the thing. You cannot have a strategic conversation if you don't understand that you need to change your attitude. You cannot have a strategic conversation if you don't understand what your attributes are. You cannot have a strategic conversation if you do not understand and want to develop the aptitude, which will then allow you to understand that you need to change your altitude. See, we cannot have a strategic conversation because as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you are in a space of negativity, if you are in a space of rebellion, if you are in a space of hate, if you are in a space of lack of knowledge, when the information is still all out here, when the information is still all out here for all of us, it's out here, then you cannot have a strategic conversation. You cannot create a change in the system or the society if you lack those things. Because we grew up, most of us, or all of us, we hear knowledge is power. That's what we hear. But see, most of us, we leave it there and we just say knowledge is power. I come to tell you today, guys, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power. It's the applied knowledge, the knowledge that you acquired and the teachings of which you acquired and how to execute it is what's powerful. So I need you to understand, because see, here's the thing. We will sit on panels and we say knowledge is power, and you left everyone to be stuck in a place of knowledge is power, but knowledge is what? How can I obtain? Now, here's the thing. I want you to think, because we need to have strategic conversations, okay? Because we are renewing the mind. We are renewing the mind. How many people do you know with double master's degree, PhDs, that's super smart? How many people do you know? Ask yourself that question. And how many of those people do you know that have it, they're not really doing much with it? Or they're in a bad position, but they're so smart. They're so smart. I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it. So when you guys start saying, well, oh, he is so smart, she is so smart, knowledge is power. No, it's the applied knowledge, the information which you have learned, and then information of someone being able to teach you to execute that which you have learned. That is what's power. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what's power. So as a man thinketh, so is he. Once you understand the execution of such thing, guess what happens? Then it becomes extremely powerful, because now you are an actioneer, someone who executes upon information that you have received and you will learn to get the outcome of which you seek. If you're with me, go ahead and type 7 in the chat for me. If you're with me, type 7 in the chat for me. If you're with me, type 7 in the chat. The thing is, perceive to be great and you will become great. Perceive to have what you want and you will achieve what you want. Perceive that change must happen, will happen, it's inevitable, and it will come. I need you to perceive that. But it doesn't stop there, okay? Right? Because our attitude is a product of our belief. Our attitude is a product of our belief. Your development of who you are can be determined, right? Can be determined. Your development of who you are can be determined by, 1, your perception of who you are, 2, by why you think you exist. Write it down. Why you think you exist. Okay? We're talking, you're renewing your mind. You're renewing your mind. And 3, your sense of significance. Your sense of significance. Okay? Your sense of significance. I need you to hold on to that. 1, your perception of who you are. 2, why you think you exist. And 3, your sense of significance. Your sense of significance. We're talking about renewing the mind. I gave you 4 things. I call it the 4 A's. I call it the 4 A's, right? But I'm back on attitude because we're talking about shifting some things, as we talked about, as a man thinketh. So it's determined on these 2 things. So what do? Change the perception of who you are. Change the perception of who you are. Change the perception of why you think you exist. and you need to change your sense of significance. Are you all with me today? Are you all with me? See, this is why we will be able to have, and how we'll be able to have, strategic conversation. Change the perception of who you are. Change the perception of why you think you exist. And then change your sense of significance. That's right. Change. So for some of you, you know, when I'm on a call like this and we're dealing with a summit, perception, you know, Google is your best friend. The ability to see, hear, and become aware, right? That's what perception, when you look it up, the ability to see, right, hear, and become aware of something through senses. Precept, perception. And I want y'all to get that. When you look at them, the ability, there's a lot of meanings, right? The ability to see, hear, and become aware of something through senses. Now that's so big. That is so big, ladies and gentlemen. The ability to see, hear, senses. These are your senses. These are your senses. Come on, guys. What are you allowing into your ear gate? What are you allowing into your ear gate, ladies and gentlemen? What are you allowing? Okay? What are you allowing into your ear gate? What are you allowing? Who are you around? What are you looking at? What vision are you allowing to paint for you? Whose vision that you're allowing into your space? Because your perception cannot be changed if you're allowing someone else's vision to take hold and you are not following those 4 A's that I just gave you. Okay? You are not. That's when it says perception, the ability to see, hear, or become aware of things, right? Through your senses. So guess what? What do? Believe. We speak it into existence. We're renewing the mind. See, here's the thing about speaking something and believing something. All the changes that we seek, when we start having these strategic conversation, you're going to hear different opinions during this journey. You're going to hear ups and downs. There's going to be battles back and forth of conversation along this summit. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. If we could only understand and come to the common ground and understand that as a man thinketh, so is he, the things that we seek change for will happen only if we believe. See, it's so big, but yet for some, so simple. It's so big, but yet for some, so simple. Some people look at it, oh my gosh, really? What is that going to do for me? That statement of itself has already put you in trouble. Because if life and death, according to my word, the good book that I read, if as we speak it, things goes out into the universe, so let's change it. Let's put the book to the side for a second and speak of karmic law and speak of energy and speak of scientific facts. We are on a rock that spins. Isn't it so? Isn't it so? Aren't we on a rotating rock? Are you guys with me? If you're with me, yes. Or you know, tell me no if you think that we're not on a rotating rock. You know, are we on a rotating rock? Are we out here just willy-nilly in, or are we rotating? If somebody can type it in the chat for me, I need to know, because maybe I'm speaking incorrect. Maybe I'm speaking incorrect, right? So if we are, right, if we are indeed, right, I need you guys to understand, if we are indeed on a rotating rock, if we are rotating, what it tells me is literally, you know, when you throw something in a pond, you get a ripple effect. It tells me if I throw something up, or if I do something, that because it's rotating, you guys know what a boomerang is? You understand? When you throw it, what does it do? Somebody type it in the chat box. Type it in the chat box. When you throw it, what does it do? I like you, Stephen. I see what you're saying. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, Marie. That's what I'm saying. When you throw the boomerang out, ladies, gentlemen, when you throw the boomerang out, what happens? It comes back at you. So if we don't want to talk about the book, we just talk about scientific fact, what I believe you know. I hope so. Because I didn't see many say anything about, oh, well, you guys weren't sure that we were in a rotating rock. You weren't sure? Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, that's a good laughter for me right now. But I want to tell you guys this. It comes back at you. So what does that tell me? If we want change, we have to put out the energy of change. If we want greater achievement, we got to put out the greater achievement of change. If we want to level up, if we want healing, if we want elevation, whatever it is that we want, we have to put it out. And how do we put it out? The same perceptions, the precepts that I'm talking about, then you use those senses to go ahead and channel what you're seeking for. Ooh. You use those senses to go ahead and channel what you're seeking for, because your attitude, as I mentioned, had to change. Remember, you're using those senses. And when my attitude changed, come on, somebody. Ooh, come on. When my attitude changed, guess what? My attributes, I start to realize that there's attributes. I start to realize I'm not the guy that needs to play in the dirt anymore. Ooh, I got a skill. I didn't know I was so good with my hands. I didn't know that I can fix things. I didn't know that I had a creative brain, because I didn't realize I was a creative. I thought I was just drawing things in the dirt. Little did I know that I can use my hand, and with the imagination of the things that I was drawing in the dirt, now I can design things. And before you knew it, I designed an aircraft. Woo! And then I realized that, hold on, I needed more information. So my aptitude that I was getting, I need to go further. I need to educate, and then I need to be able to train those gifts. I need to train those gifts, because guess what happened? Now that I'm out of the dirt, and now that I'm training the gift, I realize I got shifted. And I used to live in the rough part of town. I used to live in the inner city. But because of my new altitude, I found myself looking up at the sign on the street one day, and it said Billionaires Row. I don't think y'all with me. I don't think y'all with me. You didn't even realize that you done shift from one city to another continent or to another side of the world. Because why? You have changed those four things. You have realized that your precepts, your perception of things needed to change. And it can be changed by the same way, the same senses that was taken in information to cause Dalmatian, the same senses took information in to have you rise. Come on, y'all. Y'all with me? Are y'all with me? Type some fire emoji. Type some energy in the chat box. Wherever y'all are, type energy. People across the world, type energy. This is Mr. Boston. Type energy. If you know me, then I love energy. Type energy. Because here's the thing. There's a reason for typing energy. There's a reason for typing energy. See, some folks might have heard that or seen that ever before. So why energy? Because we are putting out the proper energy and the proper information into the world. Remember, it's rotating. And if we put out proper energy and proper information into the world, guess what comes back to us, everyone? Type it in your chat. Type it in your chat. You're putting out proper information. What is coming back at you? What is coming back at you? What is coming back at you? So you have to be ready to receive, but first, you got to give. You see, you got to be ready to receive, but first you got to give. See, that is the work that must be put in. See, that is the work that must be put in. See, some of us believe that the work simply means that I need to go dig this ditch. I need to go work on this chain gang. No, the work is the belief. The work is the attributes of what you need to equip yourself with. The work is you being able to pour into you to be elevated, to bring back the energy that is deserving to you. And how do we do that? We have to put out the work. We have to put out the work. What is the work? We got to serve. What type of serving? Listen, the greatest skill that anyone can have, the greatest skill that anyone can have, ladies and gentlemen, is to serve. That's why my hats are always off to those that serve us. My hats are always off to the medical people. My hats are always off to those that protect. My hats are always off. Why? You're in the serving business. You're in the serving business. And if you serve with a good heart, you always get good that comes back to you. When you serve with a good heart. So when we're going to renew the mind, ladies and gentlemen, you want to make sure that you understand these things. You want to make sure that you know where you're going by documenting. Remember, we talked about documenting. Understand your footprints. You know, a lot of people might have known that footprint. You know, you go to a lot of people's homes and you see the painting that says footprint. You got to understand the footprints. See, sometimes people don't want to hear about a history, but you got to know a history, right, to know a future. You got to know a history. Why do you need a history? You need a history, which is a blueprint to be able to know what not to do. Not what to do, what not to do. Because see, the what to do, you can hear it all the time, but you need to know what to avoid. You need to know what to avoid so that you'll be able to step to a different light because you're renewing the mind. Are you guys with me? You're renewing the mind. See, here's the thing. You have to develop the discernment when we start talking about perceptions, the awareness, okay, the realization. You have to develop it. The discernment, the awareness, the realization. You have to develop these things as you go along this journey. See, a lot of our perceptions, ladies and gentlemen, are other people's concepts of who we are. You heard that? A lot of our perceptions are other people's concepts of who we are. This is what occupied most of our space, our mind, other people's perceptions of us, okay? There's so much, right? There's so much of that has been instilled in you from the time you were younger. I need you to hear this. It was so much that was instilled in you from the time that you were younger that you don't even have a concept. You don't even have the concept. You don't have it. What you have is other people's concepts. You don't have a concept. What you have is other people's concepts of who you are. So when you open your mouth, guess what happens? You're really speaking from somebody else's concept of who you are because it was instilled so early. You can't achieve this. This is all you can amount to. Girl, just go ahead and be a seamstress. You can't do this. Boy, you just better go sit in that room and do this. It's been instilled so heavily. Money don't grow on trees. We don't have no money, girl. You start hearing all these things. And when you start hearing all these things, you believe them. And it comes from the closest people. It comes from the closest people. It comes from our parents. If they lack the knowledge and then enlightenment, then guess what? You get the same teaching. So now you don't have your concept, you have other people's concept. So that's why we must discover our significance, okay? Why you exist. Really, your significance, why you exist, ladies and gentlemen. It's extremely important. Your importance to the world. Your importance to the world. Your importance to the human race, okay? Your importance to the universe. Your importance to participate. You heard that? Your importance to participate, your importance to the human race, your importance to the universe, your importance to participate. You have to discover that. And in doing that, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing because that stems the power of consistency. You got to keep pushing, but you want to renew the mind. You want to renew the mind. And this is really where it is when we start having strategic conversation, when we start the movement of this summit, because it's going to change so many lives in every area, in anything that you do, anything that you touch, it will take it to another level. That, my friends, is power. That, my friends, is creating change. That, my friends, is being able to come together and show what matters. You heard that? What matters? Economical infrastructure that will bring political power, that will bring about change because you renewed your mind. Do you understand the concept of a mind that's powerful, that will allow a movement to attain and start and gather individuals that's like-minded? Then because those minds came together, it will bring all the things that needs to be a part of it. It's like saying, hey guys, we're about to have a cookout, and I need everybody coming to bring a piece of what? So that we can cook XYZ. When every like mind come together at that level of power, imagine the level of energy. When you have the level of energy, then you have a level of force. When you have force, woo, things get done. When you have force, things get done. It's like the walls of Jericho, according to my studies. See, a lot of folks really never really dissect the concept of the walls of Jericho. All they can tell you is that people came together, and because of the shout, the wall came down. But what they didn't understand was the process. See, I'm not going to say process, the process. They didn't understand. See, there was a blueprint. There was a hollowing of a name, but there was the unity of like minds. Then there was a process. There was the march around. There was the consistency of the march around. See, there was a renewing happening at every conclusion of the marching around. There was a renewing. What was the renewing? It was a renewing of belief, a renewing of more power, a renewing of understanding who you are, your place in the universe, your place in the world, and how you will participate to create change. There was a renewing. That is why when I said when like minds come together, the energy that surges, then the power that developed with the force, woo, when they hollowed the name, it was over. When they hollowed the name, it was over. So if there's anything from this entry, this snippets of this summit today that you need to take away, is understanding the force that is waiting for you to catch up with it. The force that is waiting for you to catch up with it. Because see, the force exists already. The force is all around you. The force is moving through you. But some of us, our precepts, our concepts is other people's concepts of ourselves. So then you're missing your alignment with the force. So now you can't get things done. You can't achieve greatness. You can't get to another level. You can't be able to stand up for yourself. Your chest cannot be high. You cannot be puffed up. You cannot wear a new robe. Because why? Your concepts are other people's concepts. You are not fired up to the highest level that when they see you, if anyone ever touched you and say, "Whoo, I have to pull back," because whatever you're carrying is good. Whatever you're moving with is powerful. Anytime you step into a room, everybody feels your presence. I don't think y'all hearing me. Everybody feels your presence, whether they see you or not. They just knew that something powerful just came into this room. See, that is the belief. That is the understanding. That is the desire. That is the yearning for. That is the quiet praise. That is the attributes. That is the aptitude. That is you changing your attitude. That is you being able to soar to another altitude because of the education, because of the information. And now your precepts is your precepts, not somebody else's concept, because what you see now, you're seeing in 3D. You're seeing clear as day. So anytime you move, anything you speak on, any participation you are in, wherever you are gathered, the energy is so powerful that whatever you speak, whoever you touch, change come. I don't think y'all ready. I don't think y'all hear me. That, my friends, is the beginning and how you renew your mind. So as I said, we'll be having strategic conversations throughout this journey, strategic conversations on how we can create change within this system, within this society. How are we going to leverage what we have to take people to another level? What are the services that we have and we provide that we can help others win? Okay. What services we have that we provide that can help others win? So I want you to start thinking about that. Start thinking about what services, what do I do? What am I a part of? What can I contribute that I can help others succeed, that I can help others win? And in doing so, I myself, I'm going to win, because I'm going to win in my comfort. I'm going to win in my spirit. I'm going to win in my space. And I'm sure going to win economically and financially. I'm hoping you guys are with me. Now, if you got positive energy from this call, if you have learned from this call, from this summit that we have started off, because we're going to have people from all walks of life jumping in and speaking on this summit that's going to be sharing information for most of you, because this is why I've now exposed this to the awesome platform of the world, because of the different people that will be joining us and sharing and speaking into the lives of all those in attendance from all over, all walks of life, so you all can connect with like-minded folks and see, how did they become successful? Where were they? Why are they in the rut? Why did they get out of the rut? How is the journey that they're on? See, when you start connecting those pieces and you're documenting from this day going forward, success is because of the principle of belief and action. Success is the principle of belief and action. Somebody should have wrote that down, because that, my friends, will have you realize success, action of belief and principle will take you to another level in life. Renew your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to step up. It's time for us to release the pressure that has been holding us back. And it's time for us to take in the information that will create greater change in everyone's lives. So guys, I want y'all to go ahead and type some energy in the chat. Wherever you guys are, type some energy in the chat. Put some energy in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, put some energy in the chat. I want y'all to put some energy in the chat. Put some energy in the chat for everybody. While you guys type up some energy, type some energy in the chat, guys. Type some energy in the chat. Type some energy in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Type some energy in the chat. I want to see that power. I want to see that energy. I want to see everything in the chat right now. Type some energy in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Type some energy in the chat. Type some energy in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. You guys to go ahead and drop in the chat some topics that you guys want to hear me cover on the next summit. Some topics, you guys, because see, this is why you're participating in this, right? So I need you guys to drop in the chat some top topics. Drop some topics that you guys want to see covered as we move forward with this summit. Some topics, I want you to think about it. Some topics that you want to see us move forward with in this summit, okay? Go ahead and type some, come on, come type it up in there. I see the energy. Drop some topics, whatever topics you guys feel, you guys out here in IG land and in the rest of the world, Facebook, YouTube. Listen, type some topics that you guys would love to see us speak on within the time frame of this summit. Okay. All right. Accountability. Come on. That's right. I need to see them topics. That's right. I need to see them topics coming in here. That's right. I need to see those topics coming in. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have access to these topics, guys. I'm going to have access to these topics. Okay. That's right. Come on. That's right. Self-discipline. I love it. Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. Come on, guys. I'm loving some of these topics I'm seeing. That means you guys are listening. Come on. That's right. That's right. Come on. There you go. Come on, type some topics. Type some topics in here, everyone. I want to make sure that you guys are with me. It's all about you all participating. We want to create a movement. That is what it's about. It's a movement to create a strategic movement to shift things in the society, shift things within this world. And we want to do that. And I love it. I'm loving what I'm seeing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm making sure that I'm catching the screenshot of it, because I will be putting this forward in front of the team as we move forward and press forward on this. This is extremely big. I love it. Okay, I love it. Come on, guys. Keep it coming. Keep them coming, because this is what makes this summit so powerful. This is what will allow us to grow exponentially. This is what will allow me to pick a few leaders or people that may attend this summit to really join us and speak on the summit. Okay, so this is what's so good, right? This is what's so good. Okay, I want to make sure that you guys understand it. Is this so? What's so good? Go right ahead and type it up in here. Type it up in there, because I really want to see this. And I'm so thankful for you guys joining today. I'm so thankful for you guys joining today, because it is so key to have. Without the people, we are nothing. Because it takes the people to create change, and it takes leaders to step up. It takes leaders to step up, right? And remember, a leader needs to know the way, go the way, and show the way, right? A leader can't just point and tell somebody something. We don't need any more bosses. The world needs leadership, okay? The world needs leadership. So I commend you guys, and I'm loving what I'm seeing in this chat, because you guys are really speaking it into existence, and I love it. I really appreciate you all showing up today. I know there's people on different time zone all across the world that's really looking at this. It might be morning for them. It might be midnight for some. But I love the fact that you all decided to join me on this journey today. And I'm a believer, and I'm going to say this to all of you. It is my walk and the way I carry my life and carry myself, and for my home, we serve the Most High. And nothing will change in that because of his grace. And I want to make sure that I say this, because this is the way I believe and live my life. So every bit of the glory belongs to the Creator. It is by his grace I'm able to speak to you all, and I call upon his power within this conversation that we have, and that he will touch everyone on this call, believer or non-believer, to understand that there's a force beyond you that will continue to bring healing in your space. That there will be a reckoning against every negativity, and there will be an upliftment of greatness that will fall upon you. He will embarrass you with greatness and remove the shame that you've been carrying. Your burdens will be lifted, and he will place favor over your life. This will be done in his name, the Most High, and Yeshua, Jesus. Amen. I had to give you guys that word. It is what came straight to me. I love y'all. This is so amazing. Guys, stay tuned for the next summit. Whoever want to connect with Mr. Boston, you know how to find me on all the outlets. It's Original Boston on Instagram, Original Boston on Clubhouse. You guys can find me at Original Boston, Mr. Boston on Facebook. You can connect with me, Original Boston, on YouTube. Do not forget, let's stay plugged in. Let's stay connected. And for those who know me personally, you can reach out, because we have big things planned to take it to another level. I love you guys. Continue to be blessed. Continue to win. Let's level up. Type some energy in the chat box, guys. Energy, 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 energy. I love you all. Have a blessed evening. Love you guys.